All right, I'm gonna give you guys 5 exercises that you can do from home at pretty much any level of back pain that you're experiencing. Just make sure whichever ones you implement, you're not experiencing anything above a level 3 or 4 out of 10 on the pain scale. If anything is causing above a 4, basically cut the exercise. I'm gonna give you a beginner and advanced version for each of the 5 exercises, but I have one bonus tip for anybody going through any severe back pain that you can do daily. You can do this for any injury really. It's supposed to be natural pain relief. A lot of you may already be incorporating it, but it's walking. Just normal walking. It's literally proven to do all kinds of things for your body. Anybody with back pain knows that even walking can cause a spasm, a flare up, so you gotta get better at walking. Some of you may only be able to do 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes, but you wanna get to the point where you're able to do at least do like 30 minutes and not have a flare up the next day or that same day. So get better at walking, because usually if you can't even walk, it's gonna be hard to do any of these exercises. And it really just has so many psychological and physical benefits. It's gonna work all the different muscles in your body. You're literally moving your entire body when you walk. It's gonna wake up all those dormant muscles that are probably asleep because you're letting them get weak if you've been sitting around. And you guys gotta make sure you're actually doing exercises to strengthen everything from your core, lower back, hips and glutes, hamstrings, hip flexors, because if you're not using these muscles, they're just gonna get weaker. And a lot of you that have tried to rest your way to recovery just find that you're in even more pain than you used to be when you first had the injury or first started having the pain, because all those muscles started getting weak. So again, one thing you can start working on daily is walking. You know, the goal should be 10 to 15 minutes, maybe even 20, just as a standard, just to help manage your pain. And it's also proven that retro walking, which is backwards walking, is even more effective than forwards walking. But if you're a clumsy person, do not be walking backwards on a treadmill or anything. You're probably gonna just be at risk of falling and injuring yourself, so it's not even worth it. So if you know you're a clumsy person, don't bother with the backwards walking, just stick to the forward walking. But anyways, we're gonna get right into it. One of the most simple things that you can start off with is going to be the side plank. A lot of people do front planks, but I've always found that when it came to my back pain, working those obliques, doing the side planks have had the greatest benefit for my back compared to just doing front planks. So some of you may not be able to tolerate much flexion in your core or back, so you're just gonna do the modified variation first, where you're gonna have your knees bent. You're not gonna do the full side plank yet. You're just gonna do the modified version where your knees are bent. That way it's a little bit less stress on your core and back. So before you move on to the advanced version, like the normal side planks, you're gonna wanna be able to at least do 2 sets of 1 minute on each side with this modified version. Once you're able to do that, then you can graduate onto the full side planks. And the goal is to ultimately be able to do 2 sets of 1 minute on each side. That's how you're gonna know your core is really strong enough to stabilize and protect your back. But of course, if you have a lot of back pain and you've got really weak core muscles, some of you may literally only be able to do 10 to 15 seconds. So just start where you are. Less is more in the beginning. If you try to do too much too early, you're gonna end up in a flare up and you're gonna end up taking steps back when we just wanna keep taking baby steps forward. So again, less is more, take your time, 1 step at a time, brick by brick. We're trying to build this strong foundation again after injury. And injured muscles are just way more likely to end up in some kind of flare up or re-injury if you try to push too hard too soon. All right, the exercise number 2 is gonna be Copenhagen holds. This is gonna be the beginner variation. Most people never work their groin, their adductors. This is a muscle that's gonna help stabilize your pelvis and keep it in alignment. So if you're not working this, there might be some misalignment in your pelvis. You're not gonna have good support there. That can impact your lower back. And this is also at the same time gonna be like a modified, this is gonna be like a side plank essentially, right? So you're also gonna be working your obliques. So it's killing 2 birds with 1 stone. And this is one thing that has tremendously helped my lower back pain, stabilize that spine, and now I'm pain free. I had 8 years of back pain. If you guys haven't seen my story, I just posted a video. It's the video before this, so you can check out my page. I go a little bit over my back pain story, so you can check that out. Anyways, these are short lever Copenhagen holds. You're gonna want your top leg to be 90 degrees on this bench. Basically, mostly just keep that knee on the bench, and you're gonna be, well, this is a chair, but you can do this on a bench or a chair. So this bottom leg, you're gonna be trying to lift it up against that chair. You're basically almost like squeezing the chair together, right? A lot of you, again, if you've never worked your adductors, maybe start with 10, 15 seconds on these, 2 sets of 10 to 15 seconds on these, but the ultimate goal is working up to 2 sets of a minute. It's gonna be brutal, but this is gonna really strengthen the shit out of those adductors, your obliques and lower back. And once you're able to work up to 2 sets of a minute on those, you can go to the advanced version, which is the long lever Copenhagen holds, which is gonna be keeping your legs straight, right? This is gonna put a lot more stress on that pelvic floor, that groin, but this is really gonna be the next level of bulletproofing your lower back. So for these, since they're so difficult, I would probably say just aim for doing 2 sets of 30 seconds. For me, I've never even really worked up to 2 sets of a minute on these. So if you can do that, you're an absolute beast. So make sure to try those out. But again, less is more in the beginning. So just start with 2 sets of, even 15, 20 seconds on those when you graduate from the short lever Copenhagen holds. Then exercise number 3 is gonna be something very basic. Some of you may already be incorporating it, or if you've been to physical therapy, you might already be doing it, but it's just glute bridges. I like to have a slightly outside of shoulder width stance. Manipulate, mess around with your foot positioning, and kind of try to find a spot to where when you're actually bridging up, you feel it in your glutes. So when I tell people to do these, the ultimate goal is usually about 2 to 3 sets of 15 reps. But usually when they do it, I have them squeeze. I don't just have them rep it out, right? There's a lot of benefits to holding an isometric contraction, which is kind of just like almost like a pause rep, you're squeezing. Any kind of isometric contraction teaches your body to kind of stabilize, and this is gonna be great for everything from your hips, glutes, to your lower back. A lot of people that start incorporating glute bridges start seeing a huge reduction in their lower back pain. You can do this from the floor, you can do it from your couch, chair, a bench, whatever feels better for you, because some of you, if you lay on the floor, you might not be able to get up, I don't know. So maybe doing this on your couch might be better. Again, you're holding the contraction at the top, 5 seconds. And when you come up, make sure you're not arching your lower back. You're not going so high that your lower back arches. You want to keep everything pretty neutral and in alignment. You only want to arch enough to where your glutes are flexing, not to where your back is arched. So just keep that in mind. Again, the ultimate goal is 3 sets of 15 reps with about a 3 to 5 second contraction at the top. That's going to be the beginner variation. The more advanced variation, which is gonna be the next step of really just improving your lower back, is the single leg variation here. Same principle, except a single leg. I keep this top leg usually pretty locked out. You can keep it bent, whatever feels comfortable for you. If you're having any issues with holding it out, you could just keep it bent like this. But anyway, you're just gonna hip in. Just using one leg, same goal, 2 sets of 15 reps each side, holding for a 3 to 5 second contraction on each side. This is gonna really help attack the side-to-side asymmetries in strength that you have. As humans, we're asymmetrical, so sometimes one side is stronger than the other and it's gonna take over. There's gonna be muscle imbalances, which cause a lot of different issues in the body. So again, if you can't do these from the floor, you could do these from a couch, bench, same thing. Now, you won't really have one leg. When I said with 2 legs, you're gonna basically have them outside of shoulder width apart. Obviously, with a single leg, you're gonna wanna try to keep it centered with your body so that you actually have the balance. That's the only way you can actually do a single leg, because if it's out here, you're just not gonna be able to do it correctly. So again, come up, hold for 3 to 5 seconds each rep. And again, the goal is 2 to 3 sets of 15 reps. Exercise number 4 is gonna be the outer hip drop set. Basically, you're gonna get a 90-90 position here. The ultimate goal is to be able to do 2 sets of 30 seconds in each position. So you're gonna do 3 different positions, and you're gonna hold each for 30 seconds. So this is gonna be the beginner variation where you're kind of on the floor here. You're off to the side. You're just lifting that foot. So you're internally rotating your kind of hip, your knee here, and lifting that foot. The goal is to hold for 30 seconds, but some of you might only be able to hold for 5, 10, 15 seconds when you first do these. So you're gonna go straight from this position, keep that foot lifted, but lift the knee as well. Hold that for, however long you can hold it. But like I said, the ultimate goal is 30 seconds. And then you're gonna finish off, go straight to kicking your leg out, turning that foot and quad to the floor. Hold that for 30 seconds. And that's 1 set. So each of those 3 is just 1 set. And you switch to the other side, work up to 30 seconds. Again, with those, the advanced variation is where you're actually seated up. You're doing the same thing, you're just seated up, because laying back here is gonna put a little less stress on that hip, lower back. But sitting up is just gonna make this movement a hell of a lot harder. So again, you're just lifting that back foot up, 30 seconds, foot and knee, 30 seconds, kicking that leg out while turning that quad and foot to the floor, 30 seconds. So again, 2 sets of 30 seconds each side. This is one of the things that really started helping improve my lower back, because it's working the hips. A lot of people have weak hips, they never work these, so you might cramp during these, so just be careful. If the cramping is too severe, you can stop to relax mid-set. Just don't overdo it. You don't want to tweak anything, so use your best judgment and try those out. And the last exercise, the fifth one I'm gonna have you guys do, it's gonna be working the hip flexor. That last one was working that outer hip, glute. You're gonna even feel your lower back flex, but this one's gonna be primarily for that hip flexor. You might even feel your abs a little bit. This is gonna be the beginner variation. These are called hip flexor kickouts. So you're gonna be laying down, you're gonna have one leg bent, and then you're gonna kick it out. The leg that you're working, the hip flexor that you're working is gonna be this one. You're gonna hold it for 5 seconds. And then you're gonna lower slowly, then curl it back up, kick it out, hold for 5 seconds. You wanna flex that quad. You wanna feel that quad flex. Some of you might end up kind of having cramping during this. So again, be careful. You might not wanna flex 100%. Give it about 50, 75%, see how you feel. Again, hold for 5 seconds, curl, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, lower. The goal for these should be to do about 2 sets of 10 each side. So again, 5-second hold each rep. And again, you're doing it both legs. So make sure you do the other leg, 2 sets of 10 as the ultimate goal. Maybe some of you are only gonna do 3 to 5 reps your first day. But once you can hit 2 sets of 10 each side, these are pretty easy in my opinion. But when you're flexing that, again, if you've never worked your quad or your hip flexor, you will probably cramp. So be careful with those. And lastly, it's the same thing. Like I said, that was the beginner variation. The advanced variation is the standing hip flexor kick out. So you're gonna basically raise that leg and kick out. You're gonna feel a lot more stress on that hip flexor and quad during these. You're doing the same exact thing, lifting that knee and kicking that leg out, flexing that quad, hip flexor, 5 seconds, bring it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, bring it down. Again, you wanna aim for 2 sets of 10 to 15 reps on these. These are really gonna strengthen those hip flexors. A lot of people have weak hip flexors from sitting all the time, and weak hip flexors are gonna cause a lot of problems with your lower back. So all the exercises that we did today are gonna work everything from your obliques, core, lower back, hips, glutes, hip flexors. All of these things are the base and support system for your lower back. So doing each of these is really gonna cause you to see significant improvements in your level of back pain, and it might be completely gone by doing these, because some people just have a lot of weak core muscles, hips and glutes. So this may resolve your problem. Others, eventually, you're gonna have to do direct lower back work, but we're gonna get into that in the future videos. If I try to give you guys too many things, it's gonna be a little overwhelming. You're gonna get burned out trying to do all these at once, and then you're just not gonna do it all together. So just stay tuned for future videos. I'm gonna be going over more exercises you can do from home or at the gym. Some are gonna be a little bit more advanced, so you can continue to progress in making a full recovery from your back injury. And I also post a lot of content like this on my Instagram, where you can reach out to me for any further questions you have, or if you're interested in one-on-one coaching and working directly with me. Or you can leave any questions you have in the comment section below, and I'll have a link to book a call with me in the description if you are interested in working one-on-one with me. But aside from that, I will see you guys in the next video.